Now, it is the biggest and the most explosive twist in the Sushant Singh Rajput's death mystery as yet. India Today has accessed WhatsApp chats of Rhea Chakraborty from 2017, 19 and 20. The WhatsApp chats that India Today has exclusively accessed mentions MD and hash. In 2017, Rhea Chakraborty in a WhatsApp chat to Gaurav Arya asked if MD, commonly known as ecstasy, was available. In November 2019, Jaya Saha, who is a talent manager, got a message from Rhea where she said that, and I quote, add 4 drops in coffee or tea or water and let him sip it. Give it 30 to 40 minutes to kick in. In April 2020, the chat with Samuel Miranda, Sushant's manager, informed Rhea that the stuff was over. He asked her if they should get more from Rhea Chakraborty's friend. A sensational new drug angle has emerged in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case. ED claims that Rhea Chakraborty was into drugs. The probe agency also alleges that people close to Sushant were in touch with drug dealers. Now the Narcotics Bureau too has stepped in to check this case.
Two parallel investigations by two of the top agencies of the country to solve the biggest mystery of the year, Sushant Singh Rajput's death. The most explosive claim yet has come from the Enforcement Directorate. Sources in the probe agency have said they have evidence of Sushant's girlfriend, Rhea Chakraborty, using some narcotic substance. The narcotics department has been roped in to probe the alleged drug link. Sources say in a letter to Narcotics Control Bureau, ED said people associated with Sushant consumed drugs and were even in touch with drug dealers. Sources say the ED has shared the proof of Rhea's alleged drug link with CBI investigators. The type of narcotics Rhea used, however, has not been revealed. The latest claim comes days after Sushant's family alleged she took Sushant to a resort on the pretext of curing him and later overdosed him with medicines. Rhea is also under the CBI scanner. The special investigation team will soon be issuing summons to Rhea. Her family is also under the lens. Sources say Rhea will be questioned at her residence.
India Today has accessed some of the key questions that the CBI will be putting across to Rhea Chakraborty. Most of these questions will revolve around the circumstances under which Rhea left Sushant's house. They will also ask her about the Europe trip, and also they want to know as to how close she is to Mahesh Bhatt.
Meanwhile, the CBI has intensified its probe. 7 associates of the late actor were grilled today. After glaring inconsistencies emerged in statements by Sushant's flatmate Siddharth Pitani and cook Neeraj Singh about what unfolded on June 13th and 14th. The agency will now confront Pitani with Sushant's 3 staffers. The CBI will also be questioning Mumbai police officers who were investigating the Sushant case, widening the probe to cover possible financial irregularities. The CBI has grilled Sushant's chartered accountant Sandeep Sridhar and his former CA as well.
It's been 5 days since CBI landed in Mumbai to investigate Sushant case death mystery. 5 days on, the agency has left no stone unturned to unravel the truth in this case. With camera person Kiran Sapkal, Vidya and Mustafa Sheikh for India Today.
Now, even as the mystery there deepens, India Today has accessed sensational inside scoop of Sushant's personal life, and this comes from Neeraj, the cook who was the last to see Sushant alive and the first to see the late actor's body hanging in his room. He has spilled the beans to Mumbai police. Let's take a listen at this report.
A star on the rise. A shocking death. And a sordid saga. As probe deepens into the death of Sushant Singh Rajput, India Today accesses a sensational inside scoop of Sushant's personal life. Actor's housekeeper Neeraj Singh, in an statement to Mumbai police, has spilled the beans on what happened just days before Sushant's death. Neeraj claims that he had rolled marijuana cigarettes for Sushant 2 days before the actor died. And after his death, when he saw the box which contained the drugs, it was empty. The man, Neeraj Singh, who is making this claim, was last to Sushant alive and the first to see him dead.
14 को मॉर्निंग को 14 जून को वो 6 बजे उठे थे उस दिन। तो फिर वो आए 8 बजे के आसपास, तो मैं उनके गेट से सफाई कर रहा था। तो सर बाहर निकले जैसे गेट से बिल्कुल, तो सर ने मेरे को बोला नीरज मुझे ठंडा पानी ला के दो। मैंने कहा ओके सर। मैं फटाफट भागता हुआ गया, मैं ठंडा पानी लेके आया, ठंडा पानी उनको दिया। देने के बाद सर ने पानी पिया, तो जस्ट मुझे गिलास दिया, तो देने के बाद बोला सब ठीक है ना, मामला नीचे। मैंने कहा हाँ सर सब कुछ ठीक है, ओके। हल्का फेस में स्माइल दिया, तो उसके बाद वो रूम पे चले गए।
On July 31st, when we spoke to Neeraj, he narrated what exactly happened on June 8th, the day when Rhea left Sushant's apartment.
मेरे को बोला उन्होंने, मेरे को कपड़े पैक कर दो, ये सूटकेस में डाल दो और नीचे गेट पे छोड़ दो। मैंने कहा ठीक है मैम, तो जैसा बोलते हम वैसा करते हैं। कपड़े वपड़े डाल दिया हमने, मैंने पैक करके, और कपड़े भी थे उनके। उन्होंने बोला मैं बाद में आके लूँगी, तुम ये कपड़े डालो, मतलब डाल के नीचे रख दिए। तो मैंने पैक करके यहाँ रख दिया, तो मैंने चली गई थी।
In his statement to Mumbai police, Neeraj Singh has revealed that the actor would host parties once or twice every week at his residence where alcohol was consumed and marijuana cigarettes were smoked. Samuel Haukib was the person who would roll marijuana cigarettes for the late actor. In the last 3 days, Neeraj Singh had rolled marijuana cigarettes for the actor, and these were kept in a cigarette box kept in a cupboard near the staircase. After the actor's death, this cigarette box was found empty. India Today has accessed the statement exclusively, and the statement also reveals that Rhea Chakraborty was very angry on June 8th when she asked Neeraj to pack her bags and left with her brother Shovin. Neeraj, in an interview to India Today, had not revealed this information, which has been accessed by India Today in a statement given to Mumbai police. With camera person Sachin Sawant and Sahil Joshi, this is Divyesh Singh in Mumbai for India Today.
Now, as the probe in the death of actor Sushant Singh Rajput intensifies, the curious case of filmmaker Sandeep Singh, an alleged friend of late actor Sushant, has emerged. In fact, the Central Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement Directorate is all set to issue summons to Sandeep and grill him in Sushant's case. Sources said that there are some transactions which the ED wants to investigate. While Sandeep claims that he was a close friend of Sushant Singh Rajput, he has not made even a single call to the late actor's number since the last 1 year. The family of the actor have also made it quite clear that they do not know Sandeep. Remember, Sandeep had visited the hospital after Sushant's death and also called in the ambulance driver 4 times on June 14th, the day the actor committed suicide. There was another call from Sandeep's phone to the ambulance driver on 16th of June, which has raised suspicion. The CBI now on Tuesday grilling the aides of actor Sushant Singh Rajput for hours. Now all eyes are on late actor's girlfriend Rhea Chakraborty, who is yet to be summoned in the case. India Today confronted Neeraj Singh, the cook of Sushant, and his manager Samuel Miranda after their questioning was over last night. However, when asked to comment on their role, both refused to answer and evaded the questions. In fact, earlier there were inconsistencies in their statements. Meanwhile, the actor's chartered accountant Sandeep Sridhar was grilled by the CBI for close to 10 hours yesterday. This comes after Sushant's father had complained that around 15 crores were siphoned off from his son's account. Now, in part one of India Today's independent forensic investigation, we decoded the events hours before and after Sushant's death. India Today is now trying to piece together Sushant Singh Rajput's mystery, and now we reveal whether the actor died by hanging or, as some theories suggested, he was strangulated. Here is part two of India Today's independent forensic examination of Sushant Singh Rajput's death that we've found. Let's take a listen.
सीबीआई इस नतीजे पे पहुंची है कि यस, ये पॉसिबल है। बेड और पंखे की हाइट पे और सुशांत की हाइट के हिसाब से वहां तक फंदा कसा जा सकता है। लेकिन जो बड़ा सवाल है वो अब भी राज बना हुआ, और वो सवाल ये है कि क्या सुशांत ने खुद हैंगिंग की, ये सुसाइड किया, या फिर मर्डर है, या फिर उनको बेहोश करके उस पर टांगा गया।
The CBI's dummy test puts to rest speculation over the hanging. A man of the height of Sushant Singh Rajput could hang in this space. That whether it's a suicide or a homicide is still a moot point, a subject of further investigation. Independent forensics expert Nisha Menon has analysed Rajput's initial autopsy report and the pictures of the body closely. She concurs that the injury mark noticed on the actor's neck is a telltale sign of hanging. An inverted V shape left by the ligature, the material used to make the noose, a kurta in Rajput's case. Else the mark would be something like this, taking a horizontal course across the neck in the event of strangling.
Whether the hanging is homicidal or suicidal. When we say suicidal, whether the aspect is more towards the angle where he has been killed, or somebody else is involved in that, that is a matter of further investigation, and they are higher authorities who have full platter and full set of evidences to investigate this entire thing. Now, taking this step further and correlating with the post-mortem findings, what we have, that is the provisional certificate what we have, the most crucial part of a hanging is the ligature mark that is present in the neck. If we start putting it together as a diagrammatic view, it would say that this is a V-shaped, and V-shaped ligature mark are indicative of hanging. So, we can at one point of time say that it's not a strangulation, it is a typical case, or the ligature mark shows a typical case of hanging. Now, talking about the texture of this entire ligature mark, it is said that it is brownish in texture because of the time duration which it has almost dried off, and because of that the color of this particular ligature mark is brown in color. It might have started with red color, yellowish pale, and then subsequently it has gone brown.
A professional forensic expert with almost 2 decades of experience, Menon, however, discovered certain omissions in medical observations about the neck in Rajput's provisional autopsy report. No injury to tissues and bones packed inside the neck.
Very clearly you can see this hyoid bone. This is this horseshoe shaped, and it is covered by a cartilage. This is the thyroid cartilage that is towards the center. Laryngeal prominence, that is the area where you can see a voice box, and there is a cartilage which covers that also. Cricoid cartilage is this area, and tracheal cartilages. Now, this is basically the internal structure, and here when we start working on, or when we look at the postmortem report, the observations which have been mentioned here is very limited. First of all, there is no hemorrhage, which apparently either there is no hemorrhage because this is the area where there is maximum impact, and absence of hemorrhage is slightly doubtful, which has to be figured out and probed deeper by the second set of team. Moving on further, it is also said that the tracheal cartilage, the thyroid cartilage, the cricoid cartilage, and the hyoid bone, everything to be intact in position. No fracture, nothing is there, which again is a matter which has to be really probed into and looked into.
Death by asphyxia also leaves tiny pinpoint red marks on the face and inside of the eyelids because of the obstruction of airways. but Menon found no observation linked to them in the provisional autopsy report. Its final version came on the 5th of August, but is not available in the public domain.
Talking about these hemorrhages, which was mentioned as pinpoint hemorrhages, technically it is known as petechial hemorrhages. Petechial hemorrhages is rupture of small vessels, and very dot-shaped small hemorrhages are there. And specifically, this is definitely found in cases where the death is because of suffocation. Whether it is a strangulation, whether it's a suicidal hanging, whether it's a homicidal hanging, petechial hemorrhages are definitely present. And specifically this eyelid, that is the internal part of the eyelids, there are specific petechial hemorrhages which I think so has not been mentioned in the post-mortem report, and which has to be taken care of or should be probed into. And even if there were petechial hemorrhages, what was the frequency? If it was absent, it should have been clearly mentioned that it is absent. It is not even present there.
Remember, Sushant's post-mortem was carried out by a team of doctors at Mumbai's Cooper Hospital. They've been questioned by the CBI.
A team of CBI officials came here to the Cooper Hospital located in Juhu, where the post-mortem of Sushant Singh Rajput, the late actor, was done right here. When the CBI team came here, they questioned the people in the morgue, the doctors here. They inspected the morgue.
A team of doctors at the prestigious All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi has been formed to examine Sushant's autopsy report. Forensic experts like Nisha Menon say the AIIMS doctors may have to rely heavily on photographs and video recordings of the post-mortem for clear clues, which otherwise appear to be vague in parts of the preliminary Cooper Hospital findings. Bureau Report, India Today.
A minor fire that broke out at the Kerala Secretariat last evening has triggered a political slugfest. Speaking to India Today, leader of the opposition, Ramesh Chennithala, stated that the fire could be an attempt to destroy important files related to gold smuggling case. In fact, the Congress and the BJP workers staged a protest outside the Secretariat building in Thiruvananthapuram, alleging conspiracy. Youth Congress workers took out a protest march outside the Secretariat. Cops had to use water cannons to disperse crowds after the protest turned violent. Meanwhile, Kerala Chief Secretary has ordered an expert committee to probe the fire incident and submit a report in a week's time. The State Crime Branch will also initiate a probe.
When we went and see the entire place, see that the very important files regarding this gold smuggling has been completely destroyed. No backup file is available. All are paper files. So this is a total suspicious case, and this is the most vulnerable issue. And I held Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, Chief Minister, responsible for this.
England's James Anderson has become the first fast bowler to take 600 test wickets. Anderson dismissed Pakistan captain Azhar Ali on the fifth and final day of the third test to complete 600 test wickets. Anderson had earlier picked up 5 wickets in the first innings, and the rains delayed his record on the 5th day of the test. Despite speculations of retirement, Anderson has said that he intends to continue till the Ashes against Australia next year. The 38-year-old is 4th on the list of highest wicket takers in tests, with 3 retired spinners, Muralitharan, Shane Warne and Anil Kumble ahead of him. Anderson is the only active cricketer alongside his teammate Stuart Broad with 500 test wickets.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.